Hello everybody, welcome to Dominions 4. My name is Mew, and this time around I'm going to be playing a multiplayer game of Dominions 4, set in the Middle Age, but I'm going to be playing as Late Age Arcoscephale. Now you may wonder, how is that possible? Well, this is going to be a modded game. It's going to be running the BadNations mod. BadNations is a mod made by Samog for Something Awful. BadNations is a all eras game, so you can choose nations from any era, but the map is going to be a Middle Age map. So for the purposes of things like site frequency and independent strength and all that stuff, it is a Middle Age game. But the nations that you can choose are from any era. However, the twist is that the only nations that are available are BadNations, hence the name of the mod. So you can expect to see nations like Marverni and Abysia and Nazca and Man and Jomon and all those other nations that probably don't usually win games. They're the only nations that are available. You may also notice that my pretender looks a little bit odd. That's because my pretender does not have any scales. Reason for that is because this is going to be a Disciples game of Dominions. Disciples is a team version of Dominions. If you've never played it before, don't worry, because neither have I. We shall learn together, or not, as the case may be. But yeah, it's a team game, which means you can't see my scales, because in Disciples, your team is made up of one pretender, and every other person on the team is a disciple, and in this case I'm a disciple. My scales will come from my pretender, who is, I guess, the team leader, as it were. So my team is going to be made up of me. I'm Mew, I'm Late Age Arcoscephale, and I'm a disciple. There's also Ferrosol. Ferrosol is also a disciple, and he's going to be playing as Middle Age Arcoscephale. And our pretender is going to be played by Flame112. He's playing as Middle Aged Man, not to be confused with Middle Aged Man, which is a totally different thing. And he's going to be a pretender, so our scales are going to come from him. So I'll have to put the scales up on the screen through the magic of video editing. But I think his pretender is a Great Mother with Dominion 8, Order 3, Productivity 1, Heat 3, Growth 3, Misfortune 1, and Magic 3. So those should be on the screen now. If they're not, then I made a horrible error somewhere. Anyway, so that's our team, and those are our scales. As for me, as I said, I'll be playing as Late Age Arcoscephale, so who are those guys? Well, Late Age Arco appears to be an astral nation, and I have played an astral nation before. I played Patala. Late Age Arco seem to be very much focused on evocations, I would think. They get good access to pretty much every path in the game except death and blood. But through communions, they should be able to drop pretty much any battlefield evocation you can think of. They have Earth access for Blade Wind, and I guess things like Moors of the Earth and Earthquake and all that stuff. They have Fire and Water access for Falling Frost and Falling Fires, and Fireball and Flare and all that stuff. They even get Water Fire Crosspath, so they'll also be able to drop the Acid spells in Communion. And so on. I mean, you get the idea. They'll be able to drop all the big battlefield evocations, so evocations will probably be my first research target in the early game, as well as a point in thaumaturgy, of course, so that I can actually do communions. Arco also, from what people have told me, are masters of Mind Hunt. One of the risks with Mind Hunt is that if you accidentally Mind Hunt a province with an Astral Mage, your caster becomes feeble-minded. But Arco gets a special unit called a Priestess that can actually cure afflictions. So that actually takes away all of the risk from doing Mind Hunt, I guess. So that'll be really nice. So we'll want a lot of thaumaturgy as well, so that we can start Mind Hunting people as soon as possible too. Although it does require an Astral 4 Mage. Arco are also an elephant nation, which should make expanding in the early game quite easy. It does mean that we want to secure a commander province rather early on, and we also need as many resources as we can get, because LA Arco gets the really expensive elephants who have bardings, so they have much higher protection scores than ordinary elephants, but they cost, I think, I might be wrong, but I think they cost 100 gold and 64 resources each. So they are very expensive elephants, unfortunately. But you get what you pay for. So that's the nation. In terms of my pretender. This is Bland Amazement, the Raven of the Underworld. He's not much in his own right. I don't think I'm going to be expanding with this guy, and he will also take about 6 turns to wake up anyway, so I won't have him in the very, very early game. Mainly what I'm going to use this guy for early on is sight searching. He has Ur 6 and Death 5, which diversifies me quite nicely because the 2 paths I don't have access to are Ur and Death. So he'll just be sight searching in the early game, looking for a nice little source of Ur and Death gem income. Then through the mid game and into the late game, he will be a battlefield caster, casting the big Ur and Death spells. It will also be really cool, I think, to forge this guy a crystal matrix and plug him into my communions, because if he gets communioned up, he should be like, 10, Death 9 or something like that. So he'll be able to drop gigantic thunderstrikes and shimmering fields and summon huge amounts of undead and stuff like that. So that should be really cool. But early on, he'll just be sight searching. He's got a couple of cool little buffs, I suppose. He flies, he's got fear, he's stealthy, so he can sneak around. He's got a huge patrol bonus. Dark power, I'm not sure if he'll ever use this. I guess he could cast darkness, but I don't see why I would, since I won't have any other troops who enjoy darkness. He's a fortune teller, and so are our main casters as well. And he gets this weird bonus as well, Corpse Eater. He eats corpses in provinces, and each corpse gives him additional hit points. So he might turn into a little fatty with like hundreds of hit points at some point. But that's my nation, that's the pretender. Nothing else to mention other than one of the other players in this game is named Nuclear Monkey, and he is also going to be doing a video let's play. So if you would like to watch this game from the perspective of another player, who is frankly much better at this game than I am, I'll put a link to his video on the screen right now. I'll use annotations. There should be a link right now to Nuclear Monkey's video. So go and watch it. In fact, watch it instead of this one, because he's better than me. He's just better. Just go and watch him. Don't know why you're still here. I'm garbage. But I'll do my best. But yeah, I think it'd be quite interesting for people who enjoy this. It might be quite interesting to see the game from another perspective. So you can watch them together, or watch them later on, or just watch this one, or just watch his, or whatever. You do what you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Okay, there will now be a transition, and the next time you hear me, it will be turn 1. So thanks for watching. Okay, here we are, turn 1. So, yeah, Bland Amazement, ruler of Arcoscephale. I am the Dark Hand of Medea's big happy family, apparently. So, in the beginning there was chaos, now the wheel has turned once again. Alright, so, first things first, this map is fucking future huge, like it's massive. So that's where it starts looping horizontally at this level of zoom. But vertically, I mean, I'm in the bottom left corner now, so it takes quite a while before we actually see ourselves again in the bottom left corner. So the map is extremely high, but it's not too wide. But it's big. It's very, very big. We can see our allies. I'm not sure how vision works in this mode exactly. I'm not sure if I just get total vision of everything they can see, and they get total vision of everything I can see, or if it's based on, like, I don't know, candles or something. Like, can I see their provinces because there are candles there, or I don't know how it works exactly. I think it might just be total shared vision, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. But they're the only sort of noteworthy things about the map currently. In terms of our starting position, I guess we're quite close together. My allies are right next to each other, which is, I guess, quite nice for them defensively. I'm a bit further out of the way. I suppose if anybody starts in this sort of area, that might be a bit of a stretch actually, because there's not much room. But if anyone starts around here, I suppose they'd be a nice target for all of us to invade. Lots of swamps around here. That's not good for me. Okay, so turn 1 is even simpler than usual, because I don't even have to declare a prophet, because you can't declare a prophet in Disciples, because my pretender, I guess, is the prophet, sort of. I don't know. So all you really have to do is recruitment. Arcoscephale's starting army is extremely good, I think. They start with these Phalangites, who have, pretty average stats across the board. They do have very, very high morale, and you can put them in formation. They have a very long spear, length 5, which is great for repelling. And their protection is slightly above average. Most of that is their helmet, to be fair. They have 21 head protection for some reason, and 13 body protection. They are really serious about head protection. Yeah, so it's a very, very nice unit, I think, for catching arrows and things and sitting right at the front. Peltasts aren't too bad either. They've got javelins, and any unit with a javelin I think is pretty good. Very low protection, but they do have a shield, and they can stand behind the Phalangotes. Commander is formation fighter as well. I'm not sure how useful that will be. First turn recruitment. I'll just reset this. So I'm going to recruit a priestess on turn 1. As usual, I'm going to go through the units as I recruit them. I don't want to just start talking about every single unit on the screen. But as I recruit units, I will talk about them. So first unit I'm going to recruit is a priestess. Priestesses are really, really cool. They are priest 2, nature 1, and they can heal people. In fact, they can heal 3 people per turn in a province. When I first saw this ability, I thought it just meant they kill disease, but no, they kill any affliction, which is actually really, really cool, I think, for keeping an army moving, or, you know, it certainly, you know, diminishes losses to attrition and things like that over time. It also comes into play later when we have casters mind hunting, because these guys can cure feeble mind. So this is the first mage I'm going to recruit. They're not great researchers, but you know they're priests as well as mages, and like I said, the healer is really, really useful, I think. So I'm going to recruit one of these to accompany my elephant army when I have an elephant army. But for now, I won't have an elephant army. I'm mainly just going to recruit Peltasts on turn 1. I'll get 1 Phalangote as well, and the reason for that is just because it very nicely takes up every single one of the resources for this turn if I do this. So I could just scrap that and get 3 more Peltasts, but then I'd have 1 resource left over. So let's be neat, shall we? 0 resources. So those units will just get stuck in the starting army, and that starting army will start expanding quite easily, I think. The only things I need to really avoid are crossbowmen, heavy cav, and then the more uncommon things like cavemen, but there's no caves nearby. And that's it for turn 1. Let's check mercenaries. Blackbone's pirates, 180 gold, don't have enough. We'll keep a close eye on mercenaries because we do have great scales, and because this is a BadNations game, I imagine everybody is going to want mercenaries, because presumably a lot of BadNations are bad at expanding. Although I think a lot of BadNations are also elephant nations, so that might not be true, because elephants are really good for expanding. Okay, ending turn. Wait, no. Scout. Send the scout out. Let's not attack the throne. Let's scout. What province am I likely to attack next turn? I guess I can see this one. The farmland might be nice. The mountains might also be nice because I'm going to be wanting to recruit elephants next turn, so the resources would be cool. Let's see what's in the mountains. And my commander here can wait, which is a command that somebody posted on my video. I can't remember who it was, but useful command. And that's turn 1. And I will see you on turn 2. Hello, welcome back, turn 2. 3 messages, all to do with man. A messenger from man, attention, I'm a fucking retard, that's all. Alright. Next, we saw 2 battles. So what man did was attacked 2 provinces with his scout and his starting commander. I guess because he's a good player and he does things like that. So he got to see detailed scouting reports for 2 provinces. I, of course, am afraid of attacking provinces on turn 1 now, because last time I did it, I hit a throne that had flying units and died. And in fact, one of my cap circle provinces has flying units as well, although I think they just stand there and fire short bows, so maybe they wouldn't be as risky. But yep, they're all the messages. We just scouted normally, we moved to Behemoth Rest. Right, so we have some decisions to make now, sort of. The first province that I would like to attack is a province that would allow me to recruit commanders, because I need commanders to lead my elephant armies, which are going to start popping up in a couple of turns. Unfortunately for us, the only province that actually has commanders is going to be this one, Silvermark, which is huge. It says it has 70 enemy units, included in which are heavy infantries and archers, which aren't what tends to happen is the heavy infantries, if they don't rout quickly, then the archers will just plink at you for several turns. Other provinces we've got tribes, 2 tribe provinces. They won't have a decent commander, so they'd be easy to take, but no commander is kind of sucks. This ridiculous throne, which I guess is a level 3 throne, because it has a huge Great Mother, which is a pretender chassis, and 350 enemy units. But that might not be that difficult to take, because they do sound like terrible units. Vinemen, Vineogres, Earthgnomes, Militias, and Archers. I'm sure the Great Mother will cast all kinds of awful spells, though. We have a Wasteland, which only has Horse Tribe. Might be quite easy to take, but also quite worthless. Behemoth's Rest has heavy infantry and heavy cavalry, so we cannot beat that province, I don't think. Amazons and Pegasus Riders, also quite easy to take, and quite cool as well. That'll give us some Sacreds and some Astral Mages to recruit. But yeah, we're not really... None of these are really good options. Some of them might be one of the riskier, because currently the scouting report says 70 enemy units, and it is heavy infantry and archers, but I'm going to try it anyway. So I'm attacking that with this lot. We have the commander at the back holding, and the priestess a bit further forward casting some crappy spells. We have the phalangates at the front. They're on hold, so they'll just sit there for 2 turns at the front and then attack. And we have the peltasts slightly further back, and they're just unscripted, so they can do what they want. They'll throw their javelins and then move in with the spears. And hopefully that won't get wiped out. That's the hope. Generally this is a really good starting army. It's just, I don't know, I'm a bit worried about a 70 enemy unit province with heavy infantry. It might go badly. We'll have to see. Recruitment this turn, we've started recruiting elephants. We can only actually afford 1 at the moment, but we've got a couple more queued up. We're going to recruit about 4 or 5 elephants and some peltasts, maybe a couple of phalangoites if we can afford the resources at that point. And also getting another priestess. So I'll show off the elephants. These guys, I think these are some of the best elephant units available in the game because they have the elephant barding, or something like that. They have the typical huge hit points, low magic resistance, low morale that's standard for elephants, but they also have 18 protection, which I think is quite unusual. Comes at a premium though. They cost 100 gold and 62 resources, so they're quite difficult to get out. But they are by far the best elephant unit, I think. So we'll try and recruit some of those guys. That leaves us with 74 gold. Unfortunately, that's not enough to bid on mercenaries. But Man is going to be our ally. Man is going to be bidding on those mercenaries. So we wouldn't want to take them from him anyway, because Man doesn't get elephants. Quite interesting that that's either Jomon or Shinuyama, I guess. Quite interesting they actually recruited mercs on turn 1. Shinuyama it was. Anyway, I think that's the end of the turn. Nothing else to really do. Oh, the scout, of course. Gotta start forgetting to do that. Let's scout downwards. This area is going to be filled in by my allies, I guess, so there's not much point in checking out this area. We'll see who's beneath us. And maybe move a bit over to the west as well. And end it there. So that was turn 2, and I'll see you on turn 3. Hello, welcome back to turn 3. We can see our allies all expanded this turn, as well as us. So I won't watch these, I don't think. I'll bring up the reports though. So Man expanded perfectly with his longbowman. And other Arcoscephale had some losses, but he had to hit a cavalry province. So yeah, Man had quite a few expansion options. Other Arco had 3, and 2 of them were heavy cav. So he made the best of the situation that he could, but he did sustain quite a few losses, it looks like. But the only other option he had was tribes, and I guess he wants a commander, just like I did, for his elephants. So we had a battle in Submark. Let's see how we did. So the concern here was the heavy infantry, because they tend to take quite a while to die. Militia in front, take the javelins, which I guess is unfortunate. Would have been nice if the heavy infantry got hit by the javelins, I suppose. Infantry died quite quickly,
The militia died quite quickly. And we get a bit lucky here, I think, because the heavy infantry stick around for, looks like 2 turns. And then they rout. But if it had taken longer to kill the heavy infantry, we might have sustained more losses. As it is, we lost 5 Peltests and 1 Phalangite, which could be worse. Could also be slightly better, I suppose, but it could definitely have been worse. So I'm quite pleased with that. That was quite a big province as well. And what a prize. So this province has 122 income. If we compare that to our allies, Man took a 68 income province, and other Arco took a 47 income province. 122 is crazy huge. So we've got a really, really great income already. Unfortunately, there's no resources in this province, which might actually delay things for a while, because now I have plenty of gold for units, I just don't have the resources. Elephants need 62 resources each, which is pretty substantial. Resources in this province are so low, in fact, that I can't even recruit a commander. I am recruiting it, it's lit up, but it's, I'm missing 12 resources currently. So the province only produces 11 resources, so I might not even have it next turn. Just depends, because there's currently 9 unrest, so once the unrest is gone, we might have slightly more resources in this province. So we might be able to get it next turn. But we can't recruit our elephants yet anyway, because we are still hamstrung by resources. If we can't get the commander out quickly enough, we might actually have to recruit a commander in our capital, one of these guys. But we'll see what happens first of all. We don't actually have an elephant army yet. Currently we have 1 elephant, so it's still a bit of a way off. In order to help deal with the resource situation, I'm attacking the swamp next. There's another farmland here, which is quite tempting, but this province has 41 resources. It's in my cap circle, so it's tribes as well, so it should be quite easy to take. So I'm just attacking it with the exact same setup. We'll take that, that'll give us 41 resources in our cap circle. Quite nice. Recruiting another priestess. I'll stop once I've got the next one. That'll be 3. The priestesses will just be useful for walking around with my armies. That does mean we've actually got someone researching this turn, so I've put all my research into evocation. Only 7 points at the moment, but that'll start ticking up. Evo seems like a good first bet. Evo and Thaumaturgy. Arco seems like quite a nice battle magic nation with their communions. So I'll stop maybe at Vine Arrow or something like that. I'll give my priestesses something to fire, and then we might switch to Thaumaturgy for a bit, and we'll go back and forth between those 2 schools, I think. That does leave us with plenty of gold, so we are a bit behind on resources, but we're way ahead on gold now. So I've got 308 gold left. I'm going to bid on Guthries Swordsman, and I'm just going to bid everything, because I think that's such a great first province to take. I don't think anybody is going to have nearly as much expendable gold as I do at the moment. So let's just blow everything we've got on trying to get those mercenaries. Did I just recruit them to Silvermark? Yes. Let's not recruit them though. Let's recruit them in our capital. And if we get those guys, there's plenty of easy, we can either go for these tribes or these tribes. And I think the mercs will be able to get those quite easily. So we should start capping 2 provinces a turn if we get those mercs. And we should get those mercs, I can't imagine we won't. Also notable that this province lets us recruit scouts, so once we've got a few commanders, this province will start recruiting scouts every turn forever, I think. And then my own scout is moving to Trackless Woods. I'm going to check this area. I want to see what's behind the Amazons. And that's it. So that was turn 3, and I'll see you on turn 4.
Hello, welcome back to turn 4. This time only one of our allies expanded. I think other Arco is having some difficulty. Looks like he's got some elephants now, there are 4 of them. He's got more elephants than I do, so he should start moving out soon. But Man took Wick Forest with a couple of casualties, but nothing too serious. So he's got 2 provinces now. and we've got 2 as well, of course. And we attacked Snake Swamps. So this province just had tribes, who aren't very difficult. They are all ranged though, which I didn't realise. It's kind of annoying what that does, because they just kind of sit there throwing stones. But then my units sit there throwing javelins, so it kind of works out. And then everyone pushes forward at the same time. My peltasts attack the weak guys, and my phalangites attack the strong guys, so that works out quite well. And then we butcher everything. So only lost 2 peltasts, 1 phalangite, not too bad. We captured a nice swamp province. 28 income, 43 resources. It's pretty decent. We killed 2 battle afflictions. So this is our priestess. This is why I move priestesses around with armies. They cure the... got one guy here who's got a battle fright, and... Oops. And one guy here who has... He's crippled. But those should get healed over time. Any other messages? Oh, of course, we did manage to successfully purchase Guthrí's swordsman, which I expected we would. I would have been really disappointed if our 308 gold bid wasn't enough. But yeah, we've got Guthrí. So let's check out Guthrí, shall we? Guthrí the Captain. Comes with heroic quickness and 1 star of experience. Pretty normal, average across the board human unit. And his troops are pretty much the same. Nice sort of average or slightly above average stats across the board. Length 2 broadsword. They've got shield, which is nice, because I'm going to send them into the Pegasus province this turn. 5 encumbrance. Yeah. So my expansion army this turn is moving into Swamp Passage. That is another farmland. It's also got quite a few units, so I think this might be as difficult as Silvermark was to take. So we might lose another 6 or 7 units taking this if we manage to take it at all. But it is a farmland. Don't have the Dominion here yet, so I can't see exactly what it's going to be worth, but I assume it's going to have, you know, maybe even an income as high as a Silvermark. That would be great. Another sort of 120 income province. So we'll go after that next. The mercenaries I just recruited are attacking Azimar. These are Amazons and Pegasus Riders, who I think are just shortbow units. They just sit there firing shortbows. So I've stuck the units into skirmish formation as far forward as I can get them, and they're just set to do whatever. So hopefully they'll take that province with no problems. If they take it with some problems, that's still alright, because they're just mercenaries. But if we don't take it, that would be really disappointing, because we just spent 308 gold to take that province, so let's hope they're successful. That's it for movements. Recruitment, we're recruiting slightly different this time. We're recruiting a Mystic. These are the mages that I'm going to be recruiting the most of throughout all of my fortresses. I'll start trying to recruit Sibyls in my capital at some point, but for now, Mystics are who I want. They're very good researchers. They get a +1 bonus to research. They all start with Astral 1, and then they have this huge list of possible paths that they can get. So they can end up with all kinds of stuff. But Fire, Water, Earth, Astral is the combination you'll expect to see. When you've got lots of Mystics, you plug them into a Communion, and they can cast all kinds of things. They can cast the Earth evocations, the Water ones, the Fire ones, so that's Falling Fire, Falling Frost, Maws of the Earth, Blade Wind. They can do the Acid spells if they've got Water and Fire, so that's Acid Rain and all that stuff. They can do all kinds of stuff. So, recruiting that guy next. Units, I'll be able to recruit 2 more elephants this turn, and I'll try and get another elephant next turn, and a couple more units. I just need a couple more, because we've already got 5 troops, 2 elephants, so we need about 3 more elephants, and not even that many more troops, maybe 2 or 3 more troops, and that'll be a whole army. So 2 turns we'll have an elephant army. Unfortunately in Silvermark we still can't recruit the commander, it's still missing 1 resource, so that's going to be slowed down. I might have to decide next turn whether or not to recruit one of these commanders, probably this guy instead. It's a bit of a pain, but you know. Fortunately we do have the mercenaries now, I guess, so our expansion isn't hasn't been slowed too much, assuming they actually take that province. Research, still an Evo, long way to go. And that's it for this turn. We're down to 0 gold, well, 1 gold. There were some mercenaries this turn, the shipwreckers.
but they required much more gold than I actually had. So that's that. So end of turn, and hopefully we'll have 2 more provinces next turn. Hello and welcome back. Looks like other Arco managed to expand this turn, and we expanded twice. So let's take a look at Man first of all. Man decided to expand into Woodsman with just longbows, and pulled it off. So nice work. He's got a 26 income swamp, and we've also learned that we are bordering Shinuyama, who was played by I Love You, who is a very, very good player. So that's someone we didn't want to be neighbours with. And other Arco set out with some elephants and killed some 60 tribesmen quite easily. Was that on his cap? Okay, so yeah, so other Arco was bordering one heavy cab province, this heavy cab province, which has 70 units, and that 60 tribes province. So that was his start. So yeah, we had 2 battles. So one in Swamp Passage and one in Azimar. Check these out. Yeah, it was quite a lot of units. Huge amount of militia though. So nothing we haven't really seen before. Just a bit of a slog. Gotta wait for the heavy infantry to rout. This is always the worst part. And then that causes the archers to rout as well. So we took that. Lost half of our peltasts though, which isn't great, but we do still have the 9 phalangoites, who are the much better of the troops. So we'll keep expanding with that, and hopefully we can keep going. Also a battle in Azimar. So this was the mercenaries attacking into these guys. So we got the Pegasus Riders, who are sacred, but they're short bow flying mounted units, and the Amazons, who are short bow not flying not mounted units, and also not sacred. So yeah, it's mostly just fire arrows, and that's all they do. Yeah, sometimes you get a couple of casters with them. But what is this? Crystal Heart. Alright. They both have crystal hearts. I guess that's a thing that the crystal mages have. Anyway, it's not going to do much for them because they're independents. So, troops finally get in. Amazons are out immediately, looks like. And then we start killing the commanders, so cool. So that went quite well. We only lost 4 swordsmen. Quite an easy province to take. Unexpected event in Silvermark. This kind of sucks. We lost 100% tax in that province, and that's, you know, what, 112 income, I think it was? But we did get growth +1, luck +1, and sloth +3, so that's even lower resources as well. Yeah, so resources in Silvermark is down to 6. That's nice, isn't it? We did take Swamp Passage. Check out this province. 214 income. It has 25,000 population. This is a gigantic province. It puts our total income up to 794, which for turn 5 is pretty good, I think. You know, you can. This province was 121 in Silvermark with 214 in Swamp Passage. Let's compare that to our allies. 55, 72, 26, and 50 and 88. Oh, 88 is pretty nice. That's quite a nice little forest. Even so, 214 is pretty crazy. So, Man's player suggested that I put a fort in this province. I don't see why not. So I'll try and save up some gold and get a fort down in this province, since it is incredibly gold rich. Azimar, pretty decent. It's not too bad. It allows us to recruit the Crystal Priestesses with a temple and the Crystal Sorceresses with a lab. And Arcoscephale can build really, really cheap labs. So I'm going to move a caster into this province next turn and build a lab and just start recruiting these guys, these Crystal Sorceresses, because I don't see why not. Especially since the first few turns of the game, I'm always quite behind on research because I always prefer to use my my mages to do other things. So if I have a nice province that's already putting out additional mages, that'd be pretty good, I think. So yeah, Utresis here, the mystic, is moving to Azimar. He'll build the lab there next turn. I think it costs 250 gold for Arco. Let's just check. Construct building. Yeah, 250 gold labs. It's pretty nice. The mercs are heading to Latian, or Lashian, or Latian. I don't really want to move them into Frosted Peaks because there's heavy cav here, which are quite tough. Don't want to move them into Behemoth's Rest because there are heavy cavalry there, which is quite tough. So that really only leaves Latian, which is just militias, archers, heavy infantry. We might beat that, we might not. We've still got 26 swordsmen. We'll see how it goes. The units in Swamp Passage, we are only down to 18 units now. They're going to attack Scantrest. It's only woodsmen and blowpipes, so they might be able to do that. If they are defeated, then, well, it's not a huge loss. We'll just hang out in Swamp Passage and build a fort though. Can't attack Lorien swamps yet because there are some huge dark vines and some bloodhenge druids there, so that's slightly more difficult than just regular woodsmen. Wesh has cataphracts, so that's completely off the table. In terms of recruitment, I'm going to have to recruit a commander this turn because I still don't have an independent commander. He will lead my elephants next turn because we will be up to 5 elephants and a handful of troops, which is fine. Those elephants, let's just check out this commander first actually. So it's just a commander, it's nothing too shocking. 80 leadership, plus 1 morale for 3 squads. It's pretty decent actually. 2 map move. Very expensive though. He'll be leading out my elephants. I guess I'll go down into Behemoth's Rest and then White Waste. I've still got another route here that I've kept open for another expansion army, which can go one of these directions. But that's just sitting there. I think I'll go southeast though. Research is still nowhere, so still researching. That'll be later. I think that's everything for this turn. There's no mercenaries that I really want. There's Obscuro, but I'd rather save my gold for now and get a lab and a fort next turn. Plus however many elephants we can afford after that. Okay. Oh, let's put some province defense in these provinces too. I'm going to try and put a little bit more province defense than usual in provinces. That's why these ones are on 4 at the moment. Because we are Misfortune 1, so when my dominion starts to spread, there might be some bad luck events. But currently there's no bad luck in these provinces, so it's not too bad, I suppose. Alright, 2 commanders doing nothing. Let me guess, I forgot to move the scout. Oh, okay, so Akela's here to build the lab next turn. I guess she can site search for nature and holy sites, why not? And my scout. Let's move the scout down. That seems good. Okay, ending turn. And I'll see you on turn 6 in the next video.